Assalamualaikum and hello to my friends and Dr. Tan. So today we would like to discuss about issues in the context of teaching and assessment of numbers and operations and also relationship and algebra. So without further ado, I would like to introduce my group of member, which is me, Nur Umaira binti Abdullah.
And me, Muhammad Yasin bin Bachok.
And lastly, Ikram bin Abdul Rashid, which is me.
So we are from group 7. So firstly, this is our list of context, which is introduction, issues and challenges in teaching and assessment, issue on the teaching of number and operation, also the relationship and algebra, and lastly is conclusion. So the first issue, before we move to the first issue, teaching and assessment in numbers and operations, relationships, and algebra face several challenges, including students' varying proficiency levels, reliance on rote learning, and difficulty in applying concepts to real-life situations. It is because traditional assessments often emphasize procedural skills rather than conceptual understanding and critical thinking. So, the first issue that we have found, which is firstly difficulties understanding and teaching fraction. So, why this issue happen? It is because difficulty understanding fractions equivalence, which it means students do not understand that, for example, 1/2 and 2/4 represent the same value. Student didn't know that the value is same. The next is struggles with fraction operation in the terms of addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. For example, many students add fraction by simply adding the numerators and denominators. And this is challenges for teachers, which is teacher need to focus on procedural teaching rather than conceptual learning. For example, teachers emphasize memorizing fractions rule without explaining why they work. And also, teachers also can do limited use. It is because this is challenges for teachers because limited use of visual aids, which mean teachers rely on written exercises instead of using fraction models or number lines. So, for the assessment issues, it is based on emphasis on memorization rather than conceptual understanding, which is it is connect to the challenges for teachers, but it is for student, which the example is student can solve 1/2 plus 1/4 using a formula but cannot explain why the answer is 3/4. It is also lack of real-world application problems, which it is mean exam or test question focus on calculation but do not include real-life example like cooking or finance. So, all over the issues that I have talked, the solution that we can do or as a teacher and also for the student is design assessment that tests conceptual understanding, not just procedures. For example, ask students to explain why 3/4 is greater than 2/5 using a diagram or number line. And also, we use visual models like fraction, bars, and number lines. That's all from me. We move to the second issue, which will be presented by Muhammad Yasin.
Okay, right. So, for me, issues and challenge in teaching and assessment issues on the teaching of number and operation that I refer to several articles is difficulties, multiplication, and also place value. So what the causes is lack of conceptual understanding. So for example, students rely on rote memorization of multiplication tables without grasping the underlying principles. And the second one is not fully understanding place value and the distributive property of number. So next, what the challenge to the teacher? The first one is teacher often struggle to explain multiplication algorithms correctly. For example, many students memorize multiplication tables without understanding the concept behind the multiplication. The second one is leading students to memorize procedure without deep comprehension. Students memorize instead of understanding multiplication as repeated addition. So the next one is assessment issues. So the first one is teaching place value in multiplication understanding. So student misalign number in multi-digit multiplication. So we can look at the example question like multiplying large number. Students seem to be forget to move the number over on each line. So student do the wrong procedure instead of correct procedure. So the next one is word problem multiplication. Student fail to extract key information from the question. So we look next slides. The difficulty multiplication and place value is problem size effect. For example, 8 times 7 takes longer to recall than 2 times 2 because smaller number are more frequently practiced. Because larger multiplication problem are harder to solve because they require more cognitive effort. Why it happen? Because children memorize smaller number first like 2, 3 and 5 before mastering large ones like 7, 8 and 9. And then larger number require more step if solved by repeated addition like 8 times 7. Like 7 plus 7 plus 7 like that lah. And the second one is word problem in multiplication. So many students struggle to extract key information from word problem. For example, they cannot determine what number to multiply or misinterpret the question. So in multi-step problem, for example, word problem in multiplication is a factory produce 125 toy per day. If it operates for 24 days, how many toys are produced? So the solution is easy. Just 125 times 24 equal to 3,000 toys. So the problem is students do not understand what operation to use like addition, multiplication, or many more. And they struggle with reading comprehensions, making it hard to extract relevant detail. So we move to solution that teacher can do to handle this problem lah. So the first one is, the solution is use visual aids. For example, array model. So students arrange objects in row and columns to visualize multiplication as group or equal size. This way helps them see pattern and understand commutativity. For example, the question 3 times 4. So we can in array model we can imagine 3 rows with 4 dots in each row. We can look at the example lah. So the next one is we can use visual aids like hands-on manipulative using block, bits, or counters. So I use real object like block, bits, or cubes to represent multiplication group. So it helps students physically count and group object. For example, question for 5 times 2. So teacher or student can take 5 group of 2 counter and count 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 and answer is 10. So why we can use hands-on manipulative? Because kinesthetic learner will learn by touching and moving object, and younger student who struggle with abstract multiplication. So these are several solution that teacher can use to teach a student and that have a problem in multiplication and place value. Just it for me and Ikrama.
Okay, thank you, Yasin. Now we move to the third issue, which is students struggle with understanding and applying algebraic relationships in of relationship and algebra. Okay, what is the causes of this issue? Okay, first we look at the first issue, causes, which is abstract nature of algebra. For example, student find 1 plus 4 is equals to 4 is not the same with the 1 plus empty boxes equals to 4. Means they cannot visualize and they cannot relate with the 1 plus x with 1 plus empty boxes. So that's for the first cause. Second, difficulty in problem translation. I give one question. Emma has 5 more apples than Tom. Together, they have 17 apples. How many apples does each of them have? So, students commonly will struggle with translate the question into the expression. For example, they usually mistakenly return the equation as 5 plus a equals 17 and not in bracket 5 plus a close the bracket plus a equals to 17. So, as you can see, they forgot to open a bracket to tell that Emma has 5 more apples than Tom. So that's for the second cause. So what is the challenges for teachers to this issue? Okay, we look at the first challenges. First, engaging and motivating students. Because in our school or especially in Malaysia, not every students like to learn mathematics. So as a teacher, we have to accept this fate and keep trying to teach them. We can look at the solutions, but we focus on challenges first. So second challenges, time constraints. Why? Because in our curriculum, the uh, the the time that are set for the mathematics subjects is only 3 hours per week. So the limited class time makes it difficult to reinforce conceptual understanding. So simply says, limited time, then limited knowledge. So this is the challenges for teachers. So looking at the causes and challenges, we must, as a teachers, introduce or do some innovation to make the solutions. So, what is the solutions? First solution, construct an engaging and motivating teaching and learning process. One, first, use fun yet meaningful teaching aid to teach students. Because when we use the fun and meaningful teach aid, we can make the PNL process is more student-centered and meaningful teaching can be achieved. For example, at the photos we can see, I cannot zoom the picture, but that's for the example for teaching aid lah, to teach algebra. Uh, second solutions Second solutions is organize mathematics workshop. What is mathematics workshop? In our school, in primary school especially, we have in school, some school will organize mathematics workshop, or in Malay, bengkel mathematics. Why this workshop is crucial in our education? Because this workshop is is organized to improve every student's mathematics skills, and this initiative to avoid weak students becomes weaker. As we all know, time constraints, or simply says limited time in class make the students cannot learn enough time. So by doing mathematics workshop, students can learn more with the teachers, and time is not limited anymore. So that's the solutions. So this is the third issue and our last issue for our group. So we move on to the conclusion. So the conclusion is, in conclusion, the teaching of number operations faces several issues and challenges that need to be addressed. These include differences in student understanding levels, a lack of interest in mathematics, and difficulties in applying basic concepts to problem solving. Additionally, ineffective teaching methods and limited teaching resources can hinder learning effectiveness. Therefore, teachers should adopt diverse approaches, such as game-based learning and technology integration, to enhance students' understanding and interest in number operations. So that's the conclusion for our group. So that's all from our group. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jangan dulu kamu keluar, jangan dulu kamu keluar, jangan dulu kamu keluar. Kejap.